Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of Friday Night SmackDown for April 18th, 2025, the final episode of SmackDown before WrestleMania. WrestleMania now less than 24 hours away as of this live stream. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support. Let's get right into the SmackDown recap. We opened up with footage of LA Knight jumping Tama Tonga in the parking lot, smashing the car door into his arm. Solo Sikoa a little too late to help out Tama Tonga. They did announce that Tama was sent to a local medical facility. Joe Tessitore used that old phrase. I'm not sure why they brought that back, but it is back. The local medical facility. Maybe they just don't want fans calling the hospital. Who knows? Roger B sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Roger. I hope you checked out No DQ&A video. I talked about your Swerve Strickland and Booker T comment. But Roger B sent in $2 and says WWE has a weird obsession with mentioning AEW. Yes, we will get to that right now with what Roger B was talking about. We had Seth Rollins come into the ring for a promo to hype up his match with Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Rollins, in a way, mentioned AEW because he said that CM Punk returned to wrestling, but not in a WWE ring. Rollins said that somebody wrote CM Punk a big fat check. Now, Rollins did not directly mention AEW or Tony Khan, but that's obviously what Rollins was referring to. Then Rollins said that Punk burned his bridge, returned to WWE, but not for the fans, but once again because somebody else wrote him a big fat check. And then he used the old CM Punk line, "Tell me when I'm telling lies." He then turned his attention to Roman Reigns. He said that the OTC doesn't even pretend to care about WWE or the fans. And then Rollins brought up the history of the Shield, how they were brought in by Paul Heyman to help out CM Punk. Rollins said he did his job, but all while this was going on, the people in the back, they wanted the spotlight on Roman Reigns. Rollins said he is going to lay it all on the line at WrestleMania. He is going to make sure the business moves forward in the right direction, and that's not a prediction. That is a spoiler, which, of course, is Paul Heyman's line. Very interesting for him to say that, making people think, is Seth Rollins going to have help from Paul Heyman at WrestleMania? I'm sticking with my pick. I am sticking with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns to win, but I am going to give my final WrestleMania predictions at the end of this stream. So make sure you guys stay tuned till the very end because I will give my final thoughts on the WrestleMania card. This was a good promo to kick off the show from Rollins. I did like it. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to reference AEW. I mean, CM Punk was there and it's part of his history. I would mention it that he went there and got fired. I would have flat out mentioned AEW for the shock value because they rarely name drop AEW. Like they might make these little indirect references. I would have liked them to flat out say AEW because people would have been like, ooh, was he supposed to say that? You know, it would have made the promo feel even more authentic. But it was still a good segment. And yes, the first hour of commercial free, or the first hour of SmackDown was commercial free. Well, 45 minutes of it was commercial free. We had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Only Rey Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura got entrances. Everybody else came out while they showed an Andre the Giant video package. A couple of the highlights of the match: R-Truth tossed out Carlito. Carlito was the first one out, and R-Truth threw the apple at him, but then The Miz eliminated his former partner R-Truth. We had Austin Theory and Grayson Waller eliminating Pretty Deadly at the same time, but then they were taken out. Theory and Waller once could have been the odds-on favorite to win this, but no longer. Phoenix was in this match, and he eliminated Santos Escobar. I'm guessing that will build up some heat with their storyline. Otis took out the Creeds, but also eliminated himself in the process. And then Phoenix eliminated Chad Gable. Remember this for later. Miz helped out Carmelo, but then got eliminated by Pete Dunne. And then Dunne was taken out, and we were down to Nakamura, Andrade, Phoenix, and Carmelo. Andrade eliminated Nakamura, and then El Grande Americano showed up, eliminated Phoenix from the outside of the ring. That left it as Carmelo versus Andrade, recreating their best of 7 series. They went back and forth, but then Carmelo was eventually able to win, sending Andrade out and becoming the 2025 Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. Winner of the Dre, I'll just say. It was nice to see Carmelo get a win. Battle Royal was entertaining. The only thing I'm wondering is why Carmelo when he's in a tag team storyline with The Miz? Wouldn't have it made more sense to go with a guy who's currently having a singles run? I don't know. But Carmelo's a fine choice. Give him a nice win. Miz can take credit for it, and they'll continue whatever storyline they're doing with those guys. Ultimately, the Dre really doesn't matter. It's just time filler. Just something for the guys to do that aren't on the WrestleMania card. It is what it is. Wade Barrett did a sit-down interview with Charlotte Flair that they aired, and they talked about the recent tensions building up, and Charlotte said that, yeah, they both have chips on their shoulders, and she said she doesn't like how they got to this point, but she said that now people are more invested in their match. It was fine. You know, they're just playing up on the backstage drama and the internet reports and all that. Rhea Ripley came to the ring for a promo to hype up her match with Bianca Belair and Io Sky. She vowed to walk out champion, but then, of course, Io Sky came out there. Bianca Belair came out there. Interestingly enough, Bianca was getting booed. She got booed in Europe, but now she's getting booed in the United States as well. Naomi came out there to confront Bianca Belair, said she wanted to handle things privately, but Bianca was ignoring her. She said she is going to finish what she started with Jade Cargill, and then Jade Cargill came out there. Naomi ran out of the ring. Rhea Ripley had words with Bianca, and that's when Naomi took a cheap shot. We had a huge brawl erupt, and Io Sky hit a moonsault to the outside onto everybody, including security. Io Sky standing tall, which makes me think that she is losing. And I did go with Bianca Belair. Am I sticking with Bianca? Stay tuned for the end. We had Chad Gable mocking Rey Fenix backstage, and that's when Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio came in, and they set up a 6-man tag team match for later. And as far as the women's segment I just talked about, yeah, there was quite a bit. I mean, they were basically trying to build up 2 matches in one segment. which was fine. And I do feel like maybe they will potentially tie in together at WrestleMania. I'll talk about that in just a few moments. We had the Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns for the tag team titles. Not really much of a match here. It was basically a setup for another match. What happened was you had the Profits with the early momentum doing the Doomsday Blockbuster to Sabin. Shelley made the save, and then after the break, Motor City Machine Guns started to build up some momentum, but then Montez Ford did that corner dive to the outside onto everybody, and then DIY showed up with an attack, causing a disqualification. This is supposed to be their WrestleMania match, and it was just a DQ. Kind of lame. And then backstage, DIY stole the titles. And backstage, Nick Aldis made them relinquish it. There was chaos with all three teams. And then Nick Aldis announced that there will be a TLC match next week. Not at WrestleMania, but they're going to do it on SmackDown next week. Odd. Like, you set up another match, but it's not at WrestleMania, and instead they're doing it at SmackDown. And the crowd hated this, by the way. The fans in Las Vegas were not happy whatsoever with this. We really should be getting this at WrestleMania, and who knows, we could end up getting it, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. I did not watch TNA Unbreakable. Haven't watched a TNA show since Bound for Glory. Make that what you will. We had Chelsea Green backstage. She filed a formal complaint with the Secret Hervice, and they presented it to Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis said he was going to take action. It was going to be Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega in a rematch. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We had a Damian Priest promo. They had a little brawl earlier in the day at the WWE World Signing, and Priest cut this promo. He said that McIntyre will become a victim at WrestleMania. He's not ready for this Sin City street fight. He's going to beat him so bad that McIntyre will wish he was future endeavored again. We had another vignette for Aleister Black, and WWE not really trying to throw you off here. I mean, they're very obvious that this is Aleister Black with their teaser. And also, on top of that, they aired it for the second week in a row right before they cut to his wife, Zelina Vega. As if it wasn't obvious enough, they're making it very clear this is Aleister Black. So anyways, we had Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green. Very basic match here. Chelsea avoided the 619, but then Zelina got the win with a super code red, an avalanche code red out of the corner. I guess that means Zelina Vega gets a match for the title at some point. I don't know when. Not WrestleMania at this point. There was no indication of that. Maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks, who knows. LA Knight came to the ring for a promo on Jacob Fatu to hype up WrestleMania. He said someday Fatu will be a champion, but he said Fatu will eat a BFT at WrestleMania. And then we had Solo Sikoa coming out for a match. LA Knight and Solo brawled, and Solo largely dominated the match. LA Knight started to make a comeback, but then guess what happened? Jacob Fatu came in. We had another DQ. Vince McMahon was somewhere smiling at all the DQs on this show. Braun Strowman ran out there and holla, holla, holla. Nick Aldis turned it into a tag team match. Vince was really smiling at this one. This was a classic Vince SmackDown 101. So we had a tag team match, and it was another pretty basic match. Bad guys got the upper hand for a while. Then LA Knight got the hot tag. Strowman went for the Strowman Express to Fatu, but Fatu sidestepped him, Strowman went over the announce table. LA Knight took out Fatu and then got back in the ring. Solo went for the Samoan spike but missed. LA Knight countered with the BFT and got the 1-2-3 victory. So LA Knight stood tall in the final segment here. Am I changing my prediction? Stay tuned, because I actually went with LA Knight to retain. I'll talk about that in just a moment. We then had Wade Barrett backstage before the show, somewhere in Vegas, interviewing Tiffany Stratton. She said her face-to-face backstage promo with Charlotte from a couple weeks ago, it was a moment of panic, but she turned it into motivation. She said that she did her research and was prepared for the segment they had in front of the crowd. She said she came in with the kill shot, and now Charlotte will damn sure have to respect her. And she said she's going to stand up to a bully at WrestleMania. We had, by the way, not necessarily, Jerry. We had a 6-man tag team match. We had Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Rey Fenix versus American Made. Now, unfortunately, we had something happening to Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was pulled out of the ring by Julius Creed, and he was out of the entire match. You had American Made with a triple headbutt to Dragon Lee, and then after the break, Lee did this triple stomp to them. Phoenix got the hot tag, and then things broke down. No Rey Mysterio, but even 2 against 3, Dragon Lee hit the Operation Dragon to Julius, and then Phoenix came off the top of the Meteora and got the 1-2-3 victory. Rey was being checked on by a trainer, and Phoenix and Dragon Lee immediately went out there to check on his condition. And then there was fan cam footage. Rey Mysterio was helped to the back. He was unable to walk out on his own, which is not a good sign. This match is less than 24 hours away. So yeah, that is very concerning. It sucks if Rey Mysterio is legitimately hurt and out of the match. They could just put Rey Fenix in there, or even Dragon Lee in there as a substitute. So I presume they'll do that if Rey Mysterio is hurt. They also could put the TLC match on WrestleMania. They could do that as well and just not have the American or the El Grande Americano match, period, which would suck for him in his WrestleMania debut. But yeah, hopefully Rey is okay and it's not anything serious. Stay tuned for any updates on that. By the way, I forgot to mention Randy Orton. Randy Orton earlier in the show, before the Aleister Black vignette, he came out there. He talked about what's supposed to be his 20th WrestleMania match. And he said that there's no way he is sitting out WrestleMania. He said he is going to be there with his gear, and he basically issued an open challenge. Who do I think that mystery opponent will be? Stay tuned. I will talk about that in just a few moments. Now, let's get to the final segment of SmackDown. We had a video package, by the way, for Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. Always a good job by the WWE production team. Cody Rhodes came to the ring, and before he could talk, John Cena immediately came out there. His same routine we've seen over the past, couple weeks ago back in Europe. He said, "Shut your mouth, kid." He said it's also his 20th WrestleMania in addition to Randy Orton. He said it's his 12th title match at WrestleMania. He said that this will be his last WrestleMania. He's not coming back despite what people think. He said that every other wrestler is a scared, insecure loser. And he said that the championship, it's too heavy for Cody to handle, and he will lose. He said that Cody doesn't even stand a chance after turning down The Rock, because Cody needed to make a choice, either do what's right or win. And as far as Cena's concerned, Cody is doing what's right, and that is going to cost him. He should have severed ties with the losers. And what he is a kid in a man's world. Now, Cena did a very good job here, to the point that when Cody started his response, he was getting booed. This is the first time I can recall Cody getting booed in a WWE promo since his return. Like, this was the AEW fans booing him. Cody was getting booed, but to his credit, as people were mentioning in the chat room, he won the fans back over in this promo. To Cody's credit, he got them cheering for him. He called Cena overrated, out of touch. He said Cena is paler than Sting at Starrcade 97. He said it's 2025 and Cena still can't wrestle. Crowd popped big for this, and they started singing the Cody Rhodes song. John Cena, he addressed this. He said the fans, they don't know what they want. He said that he doesn't have to wrestle. And then he took a cheap shot at Cody. He picked up Cody for the AA, but then Cody was able to slip out. He countered and once again took out John Cena with the crossroads, just like he did on Raw the other week. And he stood tall with the WWE Championship. So yeah, Cody once again gets the best of John Cena. And this time it's the final segment before WrestleMania. Overall, it was a pretty good SmackDown. I don't think it was an all-time great go-home show, but I think it was very solid. Thus, I'm giving it 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good final show before WrestleMania. Shout out to Miguel Ortiz, who sent in a $2 super chat. Says, been watching you for 13 years. Happy Mania week. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to everybody watching. I really appreciate you guys, your viewership, your support, and please keep spreading the word. Much love and appreciation. Thank you again, Miguel, for that super chat. Let's talk about the final predictions for WrestleMania before I sign off here and try to get some sleep before the big day. I am mostly sticking with my predictions, and I'll quickly explain why. Jey Uso, I think he's winning. Pretty obvious to me. He's beating Gunther, and they're going to have that feel-good moment. It's opening night one, so you want that big moment to start off the show. New Day, I predict they will win the tag team titles. Jade Cargill will beat Naomi. I think you want to have Jade Cargill as your star you're building up, pick up a win here. LA Knight, I am sticking with him retaining. I feel like they're still going to have Solo come out there, interfere, and it's going to backfire. I mean, they've been building up the Solo and Jacob Fatu split. So I think you really got to have something here where Solo screws up, and that sets up Solo versus Jacob Fatu. I mean, they can book this. LA Knight just won the title not too long ago, and they could book this angle so Jacob Fatu doesn't look weak in defeat, and you can advance the Solo and Jacob storyline. So I am going to stick with LA Knight. I could be dead wrong on this, but I just have a feeling that they're going to go in this direction. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. I was picking Rey Mysterio, and I will stick with Rey Mysterio if he's replaced. If it's Rey Fenix, I'm going with Rey Fenix. I mean, quite frankly, I think whoever the replacement is will get the win over El Grande Americano. So I'm just going to stay the course. El Grande Americano will lose. That's what I'm going with. I'm picking Charlotte Flair over Tiffany Stratton. I hate to go with that. I'd rather see Tiffany win, but I feel like Charlotte's going to be booked to win so she can get one step closer to the record that John Cena is trying to break. And I do think Charlotte will eventually be the record holder. I'm going with Roman Reigns, tribal chief. Definitely not Seth Rollins. He looked way too strong these last couple shows. And they're also acting like CM Punk has the advantage with Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns is the underdog going into this match. They've booked Reigns to look the weakest of the three. Thus, I'm going with the tribal chief to win. And if that happens, Virtue will be the moderator for the No DQ review this coming Tuesday. There's a quick plug. Make sure you guys tune in for the No DQ review. Who will be the moderator? We will find out WrestleMania Saturday. You see the options there. If Roman Reigns wins, Virtue will officially be the moderator. If Rollins wins, then Gina will be moderator. And if CM Punk wins, Colin will be the moderator. There you go. There's the quick plug for that. I'm going with Bianca Belair to win the women's championship. Io Sky came off looking the strongest. And I could see something happening with Naomi and Bianca Belair. Maybe Bianca is, in fact, going heel. And she's getting booed. They may pull the trigger on it, turn her and Jade are back together as heels. I could see that happening. I'm picking Dominic Mysterio. I'd like to see Finn win, but I'm going with the betting odds on this one. I'm just going to say Dominic picks up the win, and they'll continue the split between Dominic and Finn Balor, with Dominic winning the title. But I'd like to see Finn win. I'm picking Dominic. I was very torn with this one. So I'm going with Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre could really use the win, but here's my thought process. Damian Priest can be built up for the world title, potential world title match. McIntyre could always move back to Raw and feud with Jey Uso. As a matter of fact, I think that's a solid idea. McIntyre can get a reset on Raw and go after Jey Uso's world title. That would be a good feud. So I'm going to say that. I'm picking Damian Priest, but I'm not really too confident. This one I think could go either way. I'm picking AJ Styles to beat Logan Paul because Logan Paul got the best of AJ twice on TV, including this past Monday. I'm going with Liv Morgan and Raquel to retain. Easy prediction. That one I'm not worried about. And then the main event, I'm going with John Cena. John Cena has looked weak now twice against Cody, getting laid out, including this final segment here. I was already going with John Cena. No Rock whatsoever. He could still show up, and Austin could still show up, but I'm going with John Cena to win the title. I think Cena has to win it at this point. I mean, they made Cena look really weak twice now against Cody Rhodes. And I also have to give my pick for the Randy Orton match. I am going with Rusev. Here's why. If it was going to be Solo, Sikoa, or even Nick Aldis, I think they would have announced it in advance. The fact that they're doing the mystery partner, it has to be somebody significant. I don't think it'll be Aleister Black because they did the vignette. That's clearly happening next week. I don't think they're pushing that up. So who else could it really be? I've seen a few other names like Joe Hendry. I don't think it's going to be Joe Hendry. It could, but I think it's more likely to be Rusev. I mean, Joe Hendry could take an L, but I'm sensing it's not Joe Hendry. And then another option, I saw people throwing out Matt Riddle, which I guess would work. It might not be a full-time return for Riddle. They could just bring him back for one night and do the Randy Orton versus Matt Riddle match. I mean, that could happen. I wouldn't predict that to happen. Maybe if Riddle agreed to come back for one night and job out, maybe. But yeah, I'm thinking it's Rusev. And then people are saying, well, Rusev shouldn't be losing his first match back, and Randy shouldn't be losing if they're building him up for John Cena. I agree on that, but you could have Rusev win, and then Randy Orton could win a rematch on SmackDown, a number one contenders match on SmackDown, get his win back, and then face Cena at Backlash. So, Rusev could come back and win, and then Randy Orton could win a rematch. So there you have it. I'm predicting Rusev as the mystery opponent for Randy Orton. And I think I covered every match there. Most of my predictions have stayed the same with a few little tweaks here and there. There you have it. WrestleMania Sunday and Saturday. Looking forward to those shows. And yes, I will be recapping Stand and Deliver and the Hall of Fame. I'm not watching Hall of Fame live. I'm going to bed. So we'll see what happens with that. And I will check it out in the morning. And then I will be recapping Stand and Deliver, Hall of Fame right after Stand and Deliver. And then after WrestleMania Saturday, I'll be recapping WrestleMania Saturday. 2 streams in one day. Check it out. Please spread the word. Tell a friend. Thank you all so much for watching. Much love and appreciation to all of you. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.